Good morning. Teka lang. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
Mhm. Okay, start na ako. Ay, ay. Mhm. Has everyone seen the latest module? You can only see it when you've submitted the last exercises 8 and 9. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Can I
Good morning, sir.
yeah? Can I have a look at everyone? Ayun. Good morning. Ano, let's keep this short for this morning, no? Siguro within 1 hour, patapos na tayo. I'm just going to review some samples of your um, last week's work, and then we'll proceed on to what's next. And I will not be assigning any work for week 7. Is that good news? I'm thinking that you might be very busy with your midterms of others, no? So, hindi ako papansinin. Parang ganun. But we will what's going to happen for next week is going to be a review of all your work so far, okay? One-on-one. So I'll be making a schedule, a very strict schedule. Ibig sabihin kung I'm gonna give like 12 minutes per student, or if you miss that schedule, well, sorry na lang, hindi ka ano, di ba? It's meant for others to if we can reschedule that for some other time. But sounds good, right? No new work for next week. So 1 week, week 7 wala tayo. But this week meron. Isa lang. Okay, isa lang. I wanted to see if you can piece together all the lessons into one one exercise. That's the week 7. So but in any case, na, let me let us review first the what happened was with module 5 last week, exercise 8 and 9. So the exercise was to create a wash, graded wash, and let's examine some of the plates. Who would like to go? Who had succeeded? Bakit? Okay. Okay. Sino ba yung may gustong... Zonrich, are you here? Kumusta si Zonrich? What? Okay. Sige. Um, any volunteers? Or should I call out a name? Sino ba nandito? Rutel,
Sir, ba't ako?
Kasi naka-off yung camera mo. Kaya mas prone yung naka-off ng camera. Nagtatago. Ano? What you say, Ritzel?
Sir, bakit ka example pag sa akin?
Oo nga, kung mas lalo na okay, mas lalo na natin gawin. As an example, no? What went wrong? 'Di ba? Para ma-solve
Sige na.
natin. Oo, kaya nga. Para at least na corny naman kung perfect. Mm. Nag-dry agad yung paper mo, that's why. This is what's happening. Nag-dry agad yung while you were while you were doing this, nag-dry na agad yung
Sir,
dito.
nag-dry ako as in like pang fourth or fifth time ko na yan. Tapos, nainis na talaga ako. Hindi ko talaga siya ang tawag dito. Hindi siya,
Hmm.
ay, hindi siya hindi ko, nagbe-blend po.
No, perfectly okay. At least naranasan mo, no? But in actuality, na hindi ko ginagawa tong ganitong ka-perfect. But I have better materials kasi that's the reason why I can achieve it, no? If we take a look at probably examples of this, teka lang, oops, what's this? Nisip ko which ones eh. Uh, let's see. Mm, Which no, probably I could look for that. No? I think I think this is the better example. No? So this is the something I did back in 2010. 2010. So ito yun. So this is a watercolor. You can see the what happened. Oh, time I try to ano. You can see the washes, no? Um, this is cotton kasi. This is finer. Let me get out of the way. The sky isn't as perfect as I want it to be, but yung mga blotches. What I was trying to aim for the gradient sana, mas maganda. Pero the shadow is gradient, meaning darker yung ilalim, yung pagpataas it's lighter. This is the application of what shadows. Instead of flat washes, watercolor shadow, I create shadows with gradient palagi. This is one of the things that is yung ina-apply. Ganun din sa 3D. If you take a look at 3D, there's always not a flat wash. It's always gradient. You don't notice it. Pero yung coloring is always usually that. So this is the application for this one. Yeah, I've been doing these things now because the eye, our eye, if you notice your bedroom, for example, you know your if your wall is white, it's not all the time totally flat white like a cartoon, right? It's not opaque. It's usually that's great. There's a gradient there all the time. So ganun sa architecture, you don't notice it, but if an entire room, for example, is white, you could see those gradients from light to dark, dark to light, okay, all the time. So yun ang main point of the lesson. But yun nga, and application-wise, medyo mahirap. Mas maganda kapag mas maganda i-control yung dry, medium. You notice that your exercise 9, which is the last exercise last week, mas nako-control nyo. Ganun ba? Okay, sa watercolor. But watercolor kasi it's very, very, my afternoon class last week asked me, bakit watercolor ang gusto ko? Bakit favorite ko yung watercolor? Bakit hindi colored pencil? Sabi ko, gumagawa din ako ng colored pencil. Colored pencil is actually easier for me because coming from watercolor and then I go back to colored pencils, it's relatively easy. You're easier to control. Okay, so but a watercolor has a better range of color subtleties, meaning the values I can control better. I can a little layer much better. I can thin it out. I can um, modify the consistencies into making variations of the tones and the like, no? That's why watercolor yung nagugustuhan ko. Kasi I mean, if I ask you to do this in colored pencil, you cannot replicate it to this quality. Uh, 3D. Kung 3D, yes, medyo. Pero it takes a long time for you to do this in 3D. It's going to, ang dami ko naisip na ngayon kung paano mo gagawin to. But the subtleties that I placed here, for example, on this spot, if you notice this, I put a subtlety of blues just to contrast these planes. Sabi ko masyadong too flat. There's no definition. How am I going to do that? Wala namang shadow. So what I did was this subtlety of blue from the right to the left, diba? There's a gradient there that you can see. That's one way of defining layers of planes. Ito din on this side. So um, there's a lot of thinking then that I do when I'm doing watercolor. There's a planning stage for what I want. So what I do is sometimes I sketch it out. I do studies like this one. This took an hour to do only. Okay, so smaller scale, 1:100. So in 2010, why is it blurred? Yeah, it came clear. I did this entire thing. This is the Illustri house. I think I didn't show this. Did I show this last week? Hindi ko malala. I think I showed it to the other section. The Illustri house kasi, it's an existing house. Guess where? Arlegui Street in Quiapo. This is the house back in 2010. So you can see it's an extension. May barangay hall pa nga eh. It's a beautiful house. I mean, you don't see it right now. It's subdivided into rentable rooms. And then what happened was, yun nga, this is the another angle. That's on the other side of the street. Um, mga tao. So this is a painting of it. Some artist did this, but based on photos. Okay, so that's the Boyk's house. Well, you could see. Okay, so this is my process of my watercolor. I did the underwash, undertoning, and then I did the shadows, the initial underwash, and then the detailing later. 3 stages actually, usually. This is just a small 5.5 inch by 8.25 inch. Okay, could see a picture of it. Um, sketch study. Ayun. Sketch study is. I even did a look at what black and white kung ano yung itsura niya. Watercolor. Okay. Another project that I was asked to do is the Boyk's house details. Kailang okay. So these are the stages I do these things. So initial penciling 1 to 50. You can see it took me about a week to do all of this in my spare time. So it's I did the SketchUp trace photo matching, and then I did the fine penciling in detail. And then when you okay, so this is the stage where I'm doing the underwash. So there's a gradient that I do. It's a mixture of colors that you could see from the blue, which is the darkest, and then going up to the red and then yellow. Why is this important? Because the stage and then there's this subtlety kasi that you don't see, you don't notice. So I'm trying to mute down the paper. Okay, this is when I was living still in Makati, when I was still single in 2010. Um, yeah, you can see the sheen, the coloring. No? Thank goodness, no, I made documentation of these things. I was like thinking, one day I will show this to students and they will see the process. And then here is another wash, which is the parang gradient. You don't see it right now, but at this stage, parang ano ba yung yung nga, the end point, the end product nakikita mo eventually. But this is careful planning, the stages of watercolor. And then I took picture. Okay, so this is the shadow stage. Na. This is in what I'm telling you about is the gradient coloring. The shadows, I had to figure out. I There's no 3D of it. But what I did was really had to look at existing structures with similar volume, and then I did the shadow casting. Then I took I converted to black and white just to see the values kung kumusta. And then contrasting later on. Yeah, this is the colored version. At this stage, wala pa yung the all the detailing. More contrasting, pinaka darkest. So the consistency here is ano na yung cream or yeah, cream, mostly cream, more black and white. So yun ang stages of my watercolor, and then eventually my finished products, which is a detail is this. Shh. So you can see so wala pa akong contrasting of the bars here, the grill bars, and then uh, nagdagdag ako ng intensities of the coloring in here. And then what I could not define as wala akong references, ang ginawa ko, medyo vague ang ginawa ko dito. It's like, not eventually, the details of this. It's like something like this. You can see, this is 1 to 50 scale. It's scaled, so I wanted that. The shadow here, on the other hand, yung mga panels, masyadong matapang. I think I overdid it. But these are the details of this, even the details. So picture reference siya kasi. So I wanted the ventanilas also to be, ito, I'm in that stage of doing all the grills. Pero by hand, brushworks. Then this is from the Boyk's house, detailing. Kailan nga? Hindi ko natapos yata. Okay, anyway. Thing is, yeah, that's the that's the that's the use of what these are for, no? Can can I have another one before we go on to module 6? So any reaction from there? Wala? NI? NR pala. No reaction. NI. Needs improvement yung NI. No, what do you think, guys? Is this something that what do you feel about gradient? So without looking, siguro I'll just look at these things later on, and then I'll just give it what sort of grading would I place them? Roy, what do you think? Roy, are you there?
Sir?
What do you think of how you did with the graded wash?
Mm, okay naman po, pero I think nakailang ulit po kasi ako kaya mali na yung paper ko. Naubos po yung 9 by 12 ko.
Oh my gosh, talaga. Nasisira mo yung paper because of the brush strokes. Sobrang dami.
Yes,
Ganun ba?
siguro po.
Hmm. So ano yun? Nag-peel siya. Yung mga maliliit na balls lumalabas sa paper.
Yeah, tsaka po pagkakita
Hmm.
yung brush stroke, umuulit ako.
I see. Well, at least na-experience nyo. But takes a bit of practice pa nga to really master what is the graded wash. So that's that. Okay, I can't expect everyone to be good at it the first time, right? It takes practice and yeah, never. Siguro when I first knew about it, I really tried to do it myself. Uh, matapos na to, tapos na kami sa sa ito, which is Visual Techniques 2. This is Visual Techniques 2, which is the equivalent course in CHED. Siguro when I was in third year, fourth year, I was really trying how to master it. I have to master this. I have to do it correctly. But let's take a look at the exercise 9. It's slow yung internet ngayon. Why is it so slow? So take a look at this. Just one sample. Who would like to volunteer? Just one. Jacqueline, okay lang.
Yes, sir. Okay lang po.
Blue. Blue. Okay, so ang nangyari dito kay Jacqueline is that yung detailing, like this, uh, disappeared. So ang tinitignan ko, 'di ba? Kaya nga inano ko din sa sa sample of the student na bakit nagkamali is the detailing. Nawala yung corner, yung lines, like this thing had to be going like this, mga lines, mga edges, perfectly like that. Tapos contrasting, ibig sabihin darker dito, ito medyo ganun, tapos lighter yung mga iba. Yung there's this contrasting, there's this differentiation of these planes. If you think about it, there are 6 values involved at least. into all of this?
Yun, sir. Parang nahirapan po ko i-identify yung values. May mga surface po dyan na parang pare-pareho po yung shade nila. So, ayun po, kapag sinishade ko po,
Oh,
wala yung value. Diyan
oh,
po sa part yan, parang magkapareho po yung
yeah.
shade nung vertical
Kaya nga
surface
yung
tsaka
ano,
ng
no,
horizontal.
kaya nga the gradient line, the graded washes or gradient values come into play. You can have them going opposites. You can make up those things actually. Uh, you can you can make up those things and really contrast this a bit further and differentiate those planes to get all in all. Kasi ganun ako kapag if I'm coloring something and I wanted to see, oh, I need to differentiate between two planes. Ang ginagawa ko, I make one different from the other intentionally towards the end. Parang, this has, dagdagan ko konting value, it becomes clearer. Ganun sa, ano, so when I'm painting, when I'm rendering, ganun ako. You have to kind of make a decision. Okay, I'm going to decide. Like what I showed you, yung my blue tint para yung planes of that column, 'di ba? So ang ginawa ko, I decided gawin kong graded to para may differentiation of planes. Para ano yung they're different levels, different distances. Ganon. Ganon din dito. Ganon yung mga decisions ko if you're doing is these things. This is honestly a very complex, yes, a very complex scene. Um, but if I give you very two simple things, medyo so much easy, and that's the point of why we do all of these exercises for you to practice and kind of pick your brain, um, do the decisions. Ganun din eh. Was it difficult or you're just too kind of busy with other stuff that you don't want to?
Mas difficult po yung graded wash po.
The what? The graded
Yung
wash?
graded wash, mas
Okay.
mas mahirap po.
So kung if I ask you to do this in watercolor, mas mahirap talaga. But smaller areas for graded wash is actually relatively easier to control. Pero sa akin kasi big areas din yung ginagawa ko. Yeah. All right. So let's go on to module 6. Content. Now, so one exercise lang tayo this week, which is the colored pencil. If you've seen the video already, so this is so hindi pa ako nag-assign ng work which one to for you to be specifically doing. So I will be assigning you a set, okay? A set of cubes. One in it's the same cube at the same view. One is perspective drawing, and the other one is isometric. So if we take a look at what those are, there are 16 cubes all in all, but one will be assigned each to you one a different there. So I'll be assigning different sets to each and every one of you. So we take a look at the hindi siya naka alphabetic. Have to look for that. Wait. Wait. Ayun. Same pinag. Module. Row 6 cubes. So these are the cubes. Okay? They look complicated. Pero if you analyze how the shadow casting of this is much simpler than the lockered cube. Okay, so like for example, cube one, so may A, B, C, D, so different views. So you'll be assigned one of them, for example, if you're assigned to them. And this one is cube two, so different views lang, iniro-rotate ko every 90 degrees. So ma-assign sa'yo, iba yung shadow casting niya from the other one. So hindi kayo pare-parehong the same thing. So cubes 1 and 2 are derived from a 10 meter by 10 meter by 10 meter. Okay? Cube number 3 and 4 are going to be derived from 9 by 9 by 9 meters. So these are scaled to as like a building. Okay? So given na yung actually perspective and isometric, so you don't have to worry about plotting these things. Ang worry nyo is rendering them. Okay? So when you are given this, you can print them out. Kung wala kayong printer, if you don't have an opportunity to print them out, what you can do is you're going to trace this with ano to, the translucent marker pen papers that you have. Easier, no? Either through yung laptop screen or your monitor. Okay lang. Pero dapat the same size as an A4. Huwag yung mas maliit kasi mas less detailed yun kung gagawin nyo. Okay? So this is good training actually. This is just deciphering. For example, if you get this, kaya nga dinemonstrate ko to with this volume. Kasi nakaangat siya. So if you decide to do it like okay, let's download this thing. Okay, it takes a long time. Go to saved. Tapos nandun na siya sa saved. Oops.
Ayo, let's go. Ayo, let's go. Ayo.
Teka lang. Share this. Download. It's downloaded.
Slippers. Slippers muna.
Okay, so naka ano siya. Hey,
Slippers, slippers.
share. I mean, it's been 2 years na yata. I'm not used to this pa. Wait, I have to save it on photo. iOS. Kasi kapag nasa ano kasi. Okay. Where is it? Okay.
No. Don't go there.
Okay, so wait, I think I have a file of this. Sorry. Yes. Oh, it's here. It arranges by date kasi. Nakakaano lang ba. So here we go. So last time I discussed this. Yun nga. Just to, if you get this form, one of you can get this form, no? You need to mark up.
Come here.
You need to kind of decode the thing, the entire thing. No? So this one is derived from a 9 by 9. So ibig sabihin na somewhere here. Pero ito, you can get cues from all of these things. Like, for example, this one to here
Slippers.
is 3
Put
meters.
your properly.
And then therefore,
Slippers properly.
parang here is the same. proportion, 3 meters. Therefore, yung up nito, this corner, is about 3 meters also. 3 by 3 by 3. So if you can get these, that this is, paano mo ano yung horizon line? Okay, so this is 2 meters. And here, may divisions of 1 meter each dimension. For example, that's 1 meter. And then this is 1 meter on the ground. Okay? So if you get this, if na-assign sa'yo, this is what I'm talking about. So recorded to. So 1 meter, 1 meter. Everything's in 1 meter increments or dimensions. No? But how do you know that this is, okay, so 1 meter, for example, this is actually 2. Kasi this is the distance between this. But if you take a look at here, how do I erase? Hindi sila magka-the same the plane. Okay, so medyo may a bit of level of difficulty here is nakikita mo to, the isometric gives you that information. So hindi pala ito. So therefore, parang nakikita ko dito. So you can see the 1 meter, it's probably 2 meters. Okay, so if we try to align all of this, and I'm assuming that's that corner, and this is roughly 2 meters then. That's the plane of the 9 by 9 on one side. And then if I take a look at all of this, yun, nagkaka-align naman. So this is derived from a 9 by 9 by 9. So yun mo muna yung cues na to. Ito, hindi siya naka-align. So it's, nandito yung 9. No. Remember in our perspective drawing in ARVCOM4, paano mo isa-subdivide this into 3 equal parts? Remember that? Ay, sorry. So ang gagawin mo muna is you X this, correct? You get the vertical and you put in diagonals here. That these things, when they intersect, it gives you exactly 1/3 the division. Right? Remember this? Yeah. So ganun. You have to figure it out. So this is why I wanted this just to be one exercise, one plate, instead of another, mga two usually. Okay, so this level of for you to figure out, and then also the paano gagawin yung shadows, right? Remember, I'm just asking for a simple. Okay, I'm just gonna use another color. Say blue. Diba? Vertical. Oh, so if you know the height here, tapos 30 degrees, ganun. Dito yung shadow line mo. Yung edge of this, the edge of somewhere there. Pero hindi, teka lang, I'm sorry.
This one.
Mali. Kasi, okay, I'm just gonna erase all of this so that lessen the confusion.
Hey.
So you have to be careful with where things are, no? When in terms of, yeah. Ano yung height difference ito? You can always take a look at here. That's 3 meters. That's 3 meters is this equal to this. Get that? 30 degrees. So yung shadow cast edge nito, would be here. So ibig sabihin, ito yung shadow cast. Wrong. So this one and this one is the shadow cast for that one. The vertical edge shadow cast. So baka naman sa taas, mas mataas pa to. Oh, paano mo i-figure out to? You go all the way down, right? Figure out the shadow casting. Doon yung point. So this edge here is this edge there, right? Just a simple, sequences of all these. Remember, I want to know if you've learned the principles of shadow casting from the basics known to this. Let's Yeah. So that's the first stage. First stage is figuring out the shadow casting of this, and then by doing a 60 degree to 30 degree, depending. Okay, I did not specify what degree. It could be 45 degrees. It could be 60 degrees. Up to you. Okay? Ano yung, para at least may variations, nakikita ko yung shadow casting niyo. But each one of you will have a unique set. So, iba-iba. Okay? I have to take a look and then, sa ano naman, sa shadow casting of this, understandable ba for the first stage? Wala tayong question on the first stage. Very clear? Okay, good. Um, Going back to our exercise 10, right? Sorry. Of course, the end, I made a demonstration. This took me about 30 plus minutes, all the both stages, the first stage and the rendering. It's going to be in colored pencil, limited colored pencil. So apat lang kulay ang gagamitin nyo maximum, right? Very simple. Wala pa tayo sa color theories kasi. I want to have a very comprehensive in week 8. We'll have a very good lecture on color theories. Yeah? Walang volume. This is 3 minutes, so we could just watch the entire thing. No? So you kind of need to figure out the proportions. Okay, so this is 9 by 9. Yung isa, the first two cubes 1 and 2 is going to be derived from 10 meters by 10 meters by 10 meters. So I'm figuring out the architecture for this. No?
Ayo.
You put in windows, doors, architectural elements like railing, and make it a plausible architecture. Okay, so this is from David Umamoto's Cube series. So figure out very simple shadow casting. Na plausible ha. Kung titignan ko first, ay parang mali-mali yung mga shadow casting. And of course, you can apply the same shadow casting on perspective. Pero hindi mo masyadong halata. Pero I want this, of course, you will be including this in the submission. Yung isometric. Titignan ko kung tama. Now you can print this out, of course, just if you have a printer. And then, of course, the final is another set of paper. The final penciling is going to be with colored pencil, sharpened. Sharp siya kasi mga lines ko is finer. Oops, nagkamali ako sa proportion ng window. I meant it to be square. If you don't know how to make a car, it's time to learn how to do a car. Okay? Mag-refer kayo. You need to meet me halfway. I give you the 50% of the demonstration. Research on how to do a car. Ang daming videos and tutorials. And then yung tao. Paano gumawa kayo ng tao? Well, it's time to learn also how to do it. I have a blog actually that tells you how to do a car, people very fast for architecture. Notice how I'm applying the strokes and how much pressure variations. Ha? So hindi ibig sabihin na kukulayin yung lahat, ha? Huwag yung gaganunin, yung long strokes, alright? Please don't do that. And then you will use orange and yellow for accenting the inside. And then an off color for the car. Okay, off color, kayong bahala. If it's red, purple, pink, whatever. Questions on the exercise? I will email you each individually. All right. Check your mailed email, and I think I'll put a heading called Exercise 10 Cube for you to be assigned. So, yun ang basis ko, ha? Kung gumamit kayo ng ibang cube, tapos hindi assigned sa iyo, paano nangyari yan? Okay, so you need to follow the whatever random. I don't know. I'm just going to just assign randomly and as much as possible unique. Okay, what do you think of this exercise? Is it difficult? Easier? It's like a combination of everything kasi gusto ko makita yung iko-combine natin yung freehand drawing natin sa drafting, freehand drawing, perspective drawing, color rendering, shadow casting, um, everything's combined. So this is one tiny exercise to see where you are right now, right? Reaction, Bernadine, hello. Are you just come in?
Yes po, sir.
Did you see what we're going to do?
Yes po. Medyo mahirap po. Pero okay lang.
Bakit mahirap? I mean, you've been learning this since like for the last 4 terms.
Parang challenge po. Pero kaya naman.
Okay, what's the inspiration of this? Where did I this is actually very standard in schools. Okay, so it's not something that I made up because I did my research and I did yun nga, what one particular school is trying to do. Kasi yung ang ginagawa din nila sa mga students is that they use their virtual galleries as submission for their submissions. So if I take a look at this, take a look at those student works, okay, from abroad. So it's not. Ay, sorry, mali. Architectural examples, illustration examples. I showed you this before. Pero yun nga, the style and the quickness of that sort of exercises are these. No? So this is their, I guess, probably their rendering classes. This is a school in Romania. Colored pencil, very, black. Maganda naman yung black actually. Very contrasting. It's easier to actually implement. So these are their freehand drawing or visual techniques exercises. So mas komplikado pa nga yung ginagawa nila. Okay? So this is the one particular student. Okay, so she's the same age as you. Okay, so mga exercise nila, mga geometric shapes, shadow casting. Gusto niyo ganito? Let's do a complex geometric shadow casting. We haven't gotten to this point. See, it's normal. It's standard. It's something that you need to kind of master because this is what you're expected. Ito nga, mga isometric and in interior perspective plotting. Oh, oops. Sorry, this is freehand. Ito, yung mga shadow cast na problems nila ganito. So what I'm actually assigning here is relatively easier. Okay, so you could see that even this is in perspective. If the light source is say it's naka-perspective ba to? Tama, oo, naka-perspective even the lines. Kaya lang mali lang yung isang line niya. You could see the volumes. So I got ito nga mas ang ganda nga ito eh. You can see it is very standard. It's just the light is coming from one direction and it's perpendicular to the picture plane, right? May mga ganito oh. See, you could, yeah. Is it easier now that if you see this the first time, parang nakakatakot. But then when you know the techniques, medyo, yeah, alam ko na paano yung shadow casting nito. Because of just the principles of that, yung ba? Shadow direction, light direction, and then, yun. I saw this, how many years ago? I saw this, yeah, I think around 2012, mga 8 years ago. So, sabi ko, inisip ko, paano ko ituturo to? Mga ganito. So, they had to plot this from something. And, yeah, from basic plotting in the isometric of this geometric form. Mas komplikado nga eh. Gusto ko ganyan na dapat matututo kayo in ARVCOM4, no? ARVCOM4. ARVCOM4 is ano kasi this coming next term for the Frosh. Tatapos na siya sa 2. Ang ano kasi din dito sa school nito, from what I gathered, it's that meron silang yearly parang comprehensive examination before they go on to the next stage. You could see I borrowed the orange coloring and the black coloring from these examples. Okay, shadow casting, for example, is this isometric. Figure out the shadows and then implement it in perspective drawing. Right? What do you think? So ba nag-kausap po kanina? Yeah. Bernadine, what do you think? Up to the challenge?
Kaya naman, sir.
So I'm not making this up. These are standards. Mas mahirap pa nga yung pinapagawa sa kanila. Right? So, dapat, but at least makayanan natin. We have to try our best. So, my role here is really to train you onto this stage sana. Right? Don't you want to be able to do this by hand? To be able to design without having all of these barriers that hindi ko ma-drawing eh. Kaya ganito na lang yung design eh. Parang ganon. Ay, hindi ko. Box na lang para mas easier para i-plot sa perspective. I think my suspicion is in the 1970s, 1960s, ganun nangyari. They started doing all these boxes because it's so hard to do it in perspective kapag may curvilinear. Parang inisip ko, parang ganun, yung brutalist. Kasi they were too lazy to do complicated stuff that they just figured out that, let's make boxes. It's easier to plot in perspective. So ganun. If my role here is to really train you into, wala pa tayo sa mga curvilinear, ha? I want to teach that. You know, paano ipa-plot yung something very complex like a blob or something like irregular shape, very organic. There are ways of doing that and figuring it out. Also, by using these principles that we're learning, how the shadow casting would be, na how to plot it, how to correctly plot it in perspective. Ganun. Okay, without any more further questions, no, we could probably end this. And then abangan nyo yung email ko today, just after this, so that I could give you yung assigned natin na. Okay, assigned cube set. Okay, so that you could start. Okay, let's end this. If you have questions later on, I'll just message me. Okay, so I say goodbye now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yan.